been a while since I've done a video. Crypto's kind of been down in the doldrums, but today we're going to keep it on the lighter side and talk about probably my favorite game that's been built on blockchain technology. I'll go through some of the basics and why it's so fun and all that stuff. So this is Splinterlands, built on Steam, and it's a card game. One of my buddies calls it wizard chess, and I like to think of it as sort of a football game with offense and defense all going at the same time, and you're playing both sides at the same time. So first we'll go and I'll show you cards here. You're going to start with Summoner, and you have all the different factions up here. So you got your Fire Summoners, and they can choose the characters from the Fire deck. Your Water Summoners can go and choose the characters from your Water deck. Then you got Life, Earth, Life, Death, and then Dragons. And dragons can choose any of the decks they want. And then you also have some neutral cards over here that any of the summoners can choose. Then you have your monsters. These are your attackers and defenders and whatnot. And so each deck has its own strengths and weaknesses and vulnerabilities and all that. So you got to figure out what your opponent's going to do, what the rules of the game will be, and choose the best deck that you got. So I mentioned this was built on blockchain. All these cards are individual subtokens that you can use them to level up your cards so they're more powerful and you can play in the higher leagues, or you can go over to the marketplace and sell them and trade them and all that stuff. But just like trading cards sort of input onto the blockchain, that's what this is. And it's real cool too, because you own all your cards, you can sell them for lots of money sometimes, and yeah, just neat stuff. So here, let's look at fire. There's basically 3 different types of attacks. You have magic attack, melee attack, and then you have ranged attacks. And there's also 3 different ways you need to defend. So you need to defend against either magic, so there's certain cards that do that, or if someone's going to have a good archery attack, you got to defend against that. And I'll show you a few games here, and we'll see how things go. I was thinking about calling this video the Saturday Night Smackdown, but where I am in the leagues and rankings right now, I'm probably going to be the one getting the most of the smacking down. I have about a gold level deck. That's probably where about I fit in. But I get up into the Diamond League towards the end of the season, and all the max dex players and guys with big huge accounts are swimming around up there. Well, I'm waiting for an enemy there. I can go over and show you. So it is on the Steam blockchain. One thing that means everything is publicly available to view and see and all that. So you know there's a limited number of cards, you know who owns them, you can see how much they're selling for, all that stuff. All right, we have Crystal Grinder here, playing mostly Earth. That's what this is up here. This is the rules of the match. So each fight has different rules in it. This one here means reverse speed, so your slow monsters are going to attack first, and no healers are allowed in this one. Then you got your mana cap and which factions you can use. And also a countdown timer. You got 2 minutes to make your team whenever you get put in the match there. So for this, I like water with this guy here and these 2. And I got enough room, so we'll put that guy in. And have 4 points left, so I'm looking around for someone good with 4 that I can use. Or let's try this one here. And then you got to shuffle them and put them in order. This is going to have to be your big tank up here. This is the first position that takes the most damage. And then there's also cards that can attack your support players. So this guy right here is vulnerable, and this girl right here is vulnerable. But this creature gives them some extra armor, so that's going to help protect my what are normally weak points in the defense. Now, so I can go back over here, and you can go look up anyone's account that's playing and see what their deck's worth. One thing about Steam Monsters, or Splinterlands, its new name, it's not a cheap game to play. If you're going to want to play in the upper level decks, you're going to have $2-3 grand maybe to put in your deck here and level up your cards. I'm probably, like I said, right around the gold or diamond level, which is $1,400 worth of cards here. At a bare minimum, you'll probably be able to spend $100-200 if you're going to buy a deck and get enough cards to play in the bronze leagues. Or there's a thing where you can go and you can actually go to the market here, and you can rent out cards for much cheaper. So you can probably rent a top level deck for 3 or 4 months for $200, $100, something like that. If you wanted to go right to it and just try it out temporarily without buying a whole bunch, that's probably the way to go. So PeakMonsters, and I'll go over that a little bit later in this video. So here's the match. I got my water guy here, and I'm going against life. And each summoner has special abilities. This guy will give his people armor. My guy benefits magic, but I'm not using any magic attacks at the moment. And then these guys give armor, helps with melee attacks, and she drops down the ranged attacks from the opponent. See, they're directing all their attacks towards my front line guy here. That's why you need someone with a lot of hit points and a lot of shield ability and all that stuff. This is probably the best tank that I usually use in most matches. It's a hard one to get through. And I'm crushed. Once they get through my tank, it's only a matter of time before they chew through the rest of my line. Let's try another one here. So you can go over here and go and pick out which deck you want to choose from, and you can go through and you can rent whichever cards tickles your fancy. So like 3 cents a day, you can get this guy, which is one of their range attacks, low level, probably cheap card. If you're going to go down to the more expensive cards, you're going to have to be spending, let's see, rent 10 cents a day almost. There's some for 7.5 down here, 15, 3.5. Markets all over the place. 4 cents for level 5. So you have some choices to go through and choose from there. All right, playing this chick here, and melee damage to every non-flying character, and no legendary cards can be used. Let's see. What has good flyers? This guy with low level, because we only got 18 mana cap, so I can use this guy here and this guy there. Those are both pretty cheap and good cards. Now, what else do I want to use? can use her. I got 7 points left. Let's go. Let's go with him and him. Don't forget the chicken. You can use this guy, just he has no attack or anything, but you can use him as a trap card and see if you can get the opponent to waste a hit on him. And let's put him right there. So it's fire and water. And I'm going to have a big speed advantage. But that sea monster he's got there, that level 10 is hard to get through. That's a strong one. Poison him, that's good. That's going to help me out. Maybe give me a chance. Missed. That's also good. See, speed is important here. Speed can win it or lose it for you. So here's the earthquake going through, and it kills all the ground troops, which is good for me. Got that. Poison. Another hit. Let's see. Get him here. It's going to be close. Enough that I still watch it. Ah, there we go. See, speed's a big advantage there. I got it. That's why it helps to know your deck very well and know the rules you're playing with, because you know certain decks have certain advantages depending on the rules there. And so I mentioned all these cards are rare and you can sell them and they're worth something, and I think there's something like $1 million worth of them that's been traded the first year this game's been around. Oh, and that for any of the cryptocurrency people out there watching that too, this is fun to be able to buy and sell and rent out and do all that stuff. So that's another cool part of the game. Let's see, what else can we go through? Every 24 hours you get a quest. You got to win 5 ranked battles with one particular faction. When you do that, you get to go through and get some extra cards. Sometimes you get some good ones here. There's a few upper level ones that I'm looking for. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that's not bad. These couple are here are good. I'm looking for that one there to add to it. That's not bad for there. And then each battle you're doing, you also earn some of the in-game currency here. So with that, you can go over and either get potions or orbs here, which are like promotional decks they give out. I think I got enough for 6. 1470. 5. There's a few more cards out of this set that I'm looking for to level up my deck and make a few of the legendary cards playable. Let's see what we got. Yeah, that'll work either. These gold ones are a bit more rare. It's like a second edition of the card. Same abilities and everything, but instead of needing 52 to level it up, you only need 5 or 6 or 11 or something like that. And then with those, you go over here and you can add them up and combine them. That's how you level them up, and that's why it's a deflationary supply of them. So that's part of the economics of the price and all that stuff. And with these, I usually get one to play with, and then one I'll sell, or if it's a good card I want to hold on to, I'll rent it out, or at least try to. This one here I was looking for. Okay, that's that. Something else they got going on. They ran out of their first edition of cards. They're calling that their beta set, and they're doing a Kickstarter for the next series of cards they're going to put out. So if you want to get some of these quick and get all the goodies and extra promotional stuff that comes along with them, go over to the Kickstarter, and I'll put it in the video link here. But you can go over to the Kickstarter and pledge some money to it, and they'll send you cards when the edition comes out, sometime November, December, I think. And they've already got 3 times what their goal was, and 115 backers here. So a lot of people support this and like playing it. It's a fun game. They're PeakMonsters, that's the marketplace. And then Splinterlands.com is the website there. And that's about it for now. We'll see you playing Steam Monsters.